1 year ago today, because of Joe Biden's incompetent regime, the Taliban bombed Kabul airport, needlessly claiming the lives of 13 U.S. service members in the worst foreign policy defeat for the United States in the modern era. We won't forget on the Chris Salcedo Show on Newsmax. We'll be right back.
Real heroes.
Real conflict.
Real threats.
Real heart.
Now there's a place America gets its news.
Newsmax. We're real news for real people.
Millions are turning off the old channels
and switching to Newsmax, the fastest growing cable news channel in America.
No agenda,
no spin,
just the facts.
Millions watch us, so can you.
Newsmax. We are real news for real people.
That's when Americans thought that things couldn't get any worse. In the greatest foreign policy defeat for these United States in the modern era, it gets worse. A pair of suicide bombs went off near Hamid Karzai Airport today in Afghanistan. The blast ripped through buildings and bodies, injuring 143 people and killing others. At least 60 Afghans were killed, 11 U.S. Marines and 1 Navy medic died. They paid the ultimate price due to the stupidity of the mental morons who run the American government. That was 1 year ago today. We learned about the horrific attack at the Kabul airport that needlessly claimed the lives of 13 American heroes during Biden's botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. Adding to the shame, in the days to follow, Biden would later be photographed looking at his watch during the dignified transfer. And how is Biden and the regime honoring our fallen heroes today? Well, by going on vacation again, naturally, offering nothing more than a meager statement listing the fallen soldiers' names. Joining me now is combat veteran, founder of the Mighty Oaks Foundation, host of the Situation Report, and author of Saving Aziz, How the Mission to Help One became a calling to rescue thousands from the Taliban, Chad Robichaux. Also with us is retired Colonel and U.S. Navy chaplain and co-author of The Military Guide to Disarming Deception, David Giammona. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you for the service to the country. Chad, these 13 heroes who died are treated as an afterthought by the Democrat Party and the Biden regime. In my view, they deserved better leadership then, and they deserve apologies. Their families do. They deserve apologies today. What do you say?
Oh, absolutely right. They deserve better leadership then. They did not need to be put in the situation they were put into. They were bravely doing what they raised their hand to do, to defend all enemies, foreign and domestic. And they were put in a situation by our administration that cost them their lives. They died helping other humans that couldn't help themselves, standing on the wall of that perimeter. When the White House gave the NEO operation, non-combatant evacuation operation, to the State Department, taking it away from the Department of Defense where it belonged, knowing and being advised by their advisors that this was a catastrophic decision to make. They made the decision anyway. It cost the lives of 13 Americans, and then they tried to blame it on Al-Qaeda, when knowing that Al-Qaeda, Taliban, all the same. If anybody that made it in there, be it Al-Qaeda or refugees trying to evacuate, were allowed to go in there by the Taliban. And it's disgraceful the way it was handled afterwards, and even the way it's being handled today.
Correct. The term Democrat and disgraceful go hand in hand these days. Colonel, another one of Mr. Biden's many broken promises 1 year later. Watch this.
But let me be clear. Any American who wants to come home, we will get you home.
That was a lie. Where's the accountability for Biden after he abandoned thousands of American and vetted Afghan allies to the terrorist Taliban?
Yeah, Chris, our military deserves better leadership than that all the way across the board, and they didn't get it. That's why they died. I read some articles today that said, we should have left Afghanistan. That's true, but the way we left it was unfathomable and disgraceful. Kids could have done a better job in getting us out of there than the administration. The problem is he didn't listen to his military advisors, and that's exactly what happened. And, the disgrace is that even today, they won't acknowledge they're the problem, they're the fault. The previous administration would have never done this, never made those kinds of decisions, but it is what it is. The fact of the matter, they didn't acknowledge it today, or very little, really is another disgrace and a slap to our military's face.
I want you both to react to this next story. Chad, you first. New Breitbart report says qualified Air Force applications have dropped by 46% in the past year. Meanwhile, Lloyd Austin and General White Rage Milley, they're out there kicking perfectly qualified military personnel out over their vaccine status at a time when America needs them more than ever. Why do you think they're doing this? Chad, you first.
I think it's a purge in the military. Look, I've been around the military for 30 years. I've never seen a lower morale in the United States military than right now. I've never seen a harder effort in recruiting. I still work a lot with the military through my efforts at Mighty Oaks Foundation. Recruiting efforts are so difficult right now. My family served 86 years of service, consecutive service. I've been part of the Marine Corps for over 50 years. My father served as a Marine. I served as a Marine for 8 deployments to Afghanistan. Both my sons served as a Marine. That legacy of 80-something years of service from World War II to Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan ended when my youngest son was kicked out of the Marine Corps because he would not get the vaccine. That's how our family legacy ended. That doesn't destroy the morale of our troops, then I don't know what does.
Colonel, it seems that many people in this country believe that the Biden White House is doing the bidding of communist China. And it seems that the military brass in this country, at their direction, is also doing the will of China by weakening our military forces. Is that how you see what's happening in the current U.S. military, the intentional weakening of our defense?
You know, if it is, then treason should be hung around their in the signs in front of them. I spent 32 years in the U.S. Army, so I'll speak to the Army. You know, I've never seen lower morale as well in the U.S. Army right now because we have the lack of leadership. People don't want to come into a military that their sons and daughters are not going to get the thing but wokeism. And so, yeah, China plays a big part. World leaders are looking at the vacuum and leaderlessness of our country. And so we look around, and that's the reason why there's such poor morale and people don't want to come in. So we need a better leadership. We deserve that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're absolutely correct. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your service. I think China is grinning from ear to ear right now. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.